Is that Robin?
No, that would be Redbird 491.
Yep, Redbird 491 has a desert eagle. But we are live. We'll wait for a couple people to come on, and then we'll see how this goes. So.
My phone just told me that you're live.
Awesome. There we are.
My wife's probably going to be on mocking us.
Mocking us? What is
sacrilegious that I'm drinking out of a foreign domestic glass? Or
no, that is awesome that you are.
That just means you're diversified. I'm not diversified.
And the first person mentioned in the chat posts up. How you doing, Redbird? Good to see Cornfed jumping in.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you guys for joining us so far. We have supposedly 8 people on here. So 7, 8, somewhere around there. So let's start with introductions. Hey, Johnny from Prepping Life, how are you? Let's start with introductions. We got Mr. Alan B. Pro, an Iowan himself. And we got Steve Brahms, a.k.a. Willie, here in Iowa. And then we have Mr. Jason Williams from Utah. So, hey, welcome everybody. Hi, Granny, Cornfed, and Sean. I'm going to start off a little bit by letting you guys know that Calvin's Corner was supposed to be here, but he won a special Georgia drawing and won 2 free tags. So he is out there hunting. I prep for it. So this is mainly about deer hunting, but it is also about other hunts too. So if anybody has questions about hunting, just chime on in. But first, Alan has never hunted, correct, Alan?
That's absolutely correct. I've gone one time with somebody else that was hunting, and they ended up taking 2 deer in a matter of like 5 minutes from each other.
What were they using?
He was using a 410.
Oh,
wow.
410 slug, huh?
Must not have been in Iowa because that would be illegal.
Yeah. Well, back in the 80s, it was legal.
Was it at night with the flashlight?
I thought back in the 80s it was legal, but I may be wrong.
They considered it more of a rifle. 410s have always been banned. It might be legal now where they have opened it up to straight wall, but as far as I know, a 410's always been illegal in Iowa to hunt deer with slugs.
Oh, okay.
Well, I am so out of the loop when it comes to hunting, and I know that it's a skill that I absolutely need to learn. It's just one of those things that has got to be in your repertoire. If you're going to be any kind of prepper of any sort, you need to know how to hunt. And the only thing I've ever hunted had 2 legs. So,
so Sharenda from the Georgia Shooting Connections said a statement that has really rung true with me. She says she only hunts, she's committed to only hunting something she will eat, unless it's a nuisance, right? So, well, I eat anything.
I can attest for that, yep.
But I mainly do deer hunt and turkey hunt. Now, I've fall hunted turkey one time, and that's a whole different beast because they don't come to calls or anything like that. Granny says she hunted for her keys just today. All right. Anyways, so what kind of questions do you have, Alan, to get us to get you out there?
I guarantee that we do not have enough time in this chat to answer all the questions that I have. It's a complete, you can pretty much assume I know nothing at all other than how to handle firearms. Short of that, you know, I've known guys that have hunted for years and years, and a lot of them are just like, well, we don't want to take somebody that's never been out there before or knows nothing at all. And so I listened to some of the chats around, and people talk everything about not only their gear, but you know how their gear is washed. I look at some of the rules and regulations, and almost my eyes glaze over. It's like even more complicated than freaking fishing.
Well, the first thing I would ask you is, do you need to have a hunter safety course in your area?
So if you're under a certain age here in Iowa, yes, you do. So you get them between 13 and Willie, if I'm wrong, correct me, 45, correct?
I don't remember what the year is where you have to have it, but I do know I always had one, but I started when I was young, so I've always just had it. So I'm not sure where the cutoff, I don't remember where it is. And my son, who's 15, just got done taking it last year, I think. So he's had it, so he can go with me, but I don't know what the actual age is. There is an online one for adults, though. I do know that.
Okay. Well, I did have to take one to go hunt in Utah because I was not 50 yet when I went, or when I put in for the hunt. So in Utah, it's 50. If you're under 50,
I'm not
you have
so
to have
sure.
one.
In fact, you weren't supposed to probably have it here, but I don't remember what the
Well,
age
I
is.
did not start deer hunting until I was 46. So that's why when I looked it up, that's why I'm thinking it is 45 for Iowa's cutoff.
I don't remember. I'd have to look at the law for sure.
So right there is for TN deer stalker. You're Tennessee, right? I mean, it's a little
That's
bit
what
different.
it says in Tennessee.
Yeah. So, anyways, you said something about gear. So I'm going to tell you right now, I see a lot of guys go out there and they buy all this camo gear. You know, deer are colorblind, right? That's why when you wear bright orange, it's not for the deer. It is for other hunters to see you. Deer are colorblind, so don't go out and buy expensive camo. That's one thing I really want to tell people. Don't go out and buy expensive camo. It's a waste.
Yep.
You are absolutely fine in your jeans and a jacket or whatever else, you know, because of the simple fact deer are colorblind. Okay? The only thing that I suggest is you do get good orange. Now there are some people that buy orange that has the black stripes and all that stuff that look like tree branches or whatever. In Iowa, that is actually considered not legal because it's solid orange that you have to have. It's 2 foot square, solid orange somehow. So that's one thing I want to say. Don't go out and buy expensive gear.
Well, Prepping Life's comment brings up a question for me. In Iowa, I had to show proof of hunter safety in my 40s. Now, I know that was probably 30 or 40 years ago, but the question that I have is now, would a concealed weapons permit essentially do the same thing for you if I went in to purchase a hunting license?
No.
Because I've had to take a firearm safety course to get that.
Yeah, but it's not just about firearm safety. So when you take the hunter safety course, it tells you, like, let's say all 4 of us were hunting together, right? If all 4 of us were in a straight line, where do we point our muzzle? If we were all 4 across from each other, where do we point our muzzle? Hunter safety is different in that aspect.
It's more about hunting ethics. And
I was just going to say that. It's more about the ethics about it also.
Yeah. So, it tells you exactly where you should shoot a deer or a turkey or whatever you're hunting. It does tell you that. And it tells you to look at your backstop. So a lot of it works like gun safety, but it has a lot to do with the animals and group hunts and all that stuff too. So anybody
Sean
else?
just put up on his, it's anybody born after 1972.
So that's
for Iowa.
Okay.
I think it stays the same year. I don't think it moves with the age, but I could be wrong.
Well, that's probably why I didn't have to get mine. I was born before that. But I did have to get it for Utah because there goes through by the age. It doesn't go by the year in Utah.
Yeah, I think ours is like if you were born after 1965.
So I don't know. It just said if you're under 50 when I went to go do the Utah hunt. It says anyone under 50 has to show it. So, wow, there are a lot of people out there. Anybody got any questions? Okay.
Well, I know. So gear is going to have a lot to do with it. You brought up, deer are colorblind. They're not going to be able to see, but they're still going to be able to see solid rather than some type of broke up pattern.
Correct. So it's not your clothing, it's you. It's you that you have to be careful with. You don't want to be the outline, right? If there's no trees around you at all and you're the only person standing there, they're going to be like, well, that's one weird looking tree. And then if you start moving, they're going to be like, well, trees don't walk, So so I, during shotgun season, hunt in a blind, right? One, because I want to stay warm. And two, because I can move. I am not a sit down type of person. I'm antsy. I move a lot, and that's why I sit in a blind. So, but if you're sitting in a blind, you got 4 windows, right? You want to keep the windows that are across from each other closed. So if you have a window on your left open, you can have the window in front of you open. But you don't want the left one and the right one open because then you're moving and the light will show you moving. Does that make sense?
So like you have a pop-up blind or something, or do you have just...
I have a pop-up blind that I usually take out a week before my hunt. I put my chair in there if it's private property. So we'll get to the private property public here in a minute, but here, let's see what he says here. That's right. It does keep you warm and scent free. So you also said something about scent, right? If you're a smoker, I suggest you don't smoke during the hunt.
Well, can I tell you my...
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I tell you my story that I told you about scent?
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Well, you got to, like in my situation, I was muzzleloader hunting for deer, and I just happened to go to the sporting goods store and I bought some scent block. Well, I didn't know it at the time, but it was cow estrogen or cow urine for elk. Well, the elk happened to be in the rut when I was muzzleloader deer hunting, and I had a bull elk chase me. So you got to be careful when you use scents because you don't want a pissed off elk chasing you like it happened to me. He doesn't care what hole he puts it in.
So
one of the best cover scents Dad always used was skunk essence because it blocks everything for the most part.
Yeah.
That's all you smell. They can't smell you in with it. And for the clothes, I honestly hunt in my brown insulated coveralls, my Byrne or Carhartt coveralls. In the last 15 years, probably, if I have any coveralls on, it's either that or it's my blue jeans. But a group hunt in shotgun season because there's multiple ways to do it. You can hunt by yourself, like Thack does. We group hunt. We take 10-ish of us, and we push sections and fields and timbers and draws and push them to people that are posted, and that way we funnel the deer towards the people to get them. So, I mean,
Did
there's
that make any
multiple
sense
ways
to
to
you?
do it. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that
I
make
know
sense,
I know that
Alvin?
or I know that as brushing. We brush for deer.
Okay.
it's called party hunting in Iowa. We group.
Yeah. It is party hunting, and so you have people that are chasing the deer, which we call the pushers, and then we
Mhm.
post people at the end of the push to shoot. Well, you know, pushers can shoot too,
Yeah.
but the people that we post are the ones that we're pushing the deer towards, and they stay still. We know exactly where they are, and once we push the deer towards them, the posters just stand there and shoot. So,
Yep. Growing up, I was always the pusher. Me and my cousins, they always set us in the sticks with our BB guns and a baseball bat, beat up the
Pistol.
trees. Yeah, make all the noise we can.
That's why we carry a cheap pistol with or something cheap to shoot, and you use it to rattle the timbers and make lots of noise and get them moving. I tend to walk, I don't know, I should put a step meter on. I'd hate to know how many miles I walk during hunting season. It's just, I push everything because I know where to go and where they're going to go, and it just works better. But we've also hunted the same stuff for the last 15 years, so we have an idea how they're going to react by what we're doing.
yeah, I believe it was Jamie that said that one of the most important things we should always do is scout, right? So if you're public hunting, especially, you do want to go out there and see where they're at and stuff like that. Private land, like over where Willie lets us hunt, we go there enough where we know where the deer are coming in and out, but we still look for sign at all times, right? I mean,
I don't.
well, I do. I always look for sign of whatever's out there.
I just know they're there.
But talking about scent, you know, I used to pay money to wash my clothes in the no scent, and then I go and, you know, get the scent spray and all that. But now I just stick my clothes in a plastic bag with like some pine brush or something like that and just let it just stink in there, and you know, whatever the natural smells of the land are. Like Willie's land has a lot of cedar. I'll just grab a couple cedar branches and put it with my clothes, and I'm good. Yeah. And letting my blind sit out there for a week, you know, that just always helps.
That was actually just about to be my question. So you go out and set up the blind. Not only does it help permeate itself just being out there, but then the deer notice it there for a little while, and they get used to it being there.
Yep. Yes. They see it there all the time, and they're just like, well, whatever. You know, they don't think twice about it anymore. But here's the thing: setting up a blind, I would only do it on private land. Because here in Iowa, if you set up a blind on public land, if you don't get in there in time, anyone can use your blind.
Anybody can use it.
Yep, anyone can use your blind. So you may have a chair sitting in there, and there might be a guy sitting in your chair, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Same with the tree stand.
Yep, tree stands too. Yeah. Okay, Prep 4 had a question up there. Let me go find out what he asked. I think this was his question. Proof website or channel that shows the safest way to cut so that, so he wants to know about cleaning the deer. So most of us start from like when we did ours, right, Jason? We went from the tail end and go. Well, we went from the right here on down, and if you take your knife and cut towards you, you will
I
not
typically
puncture.
go up.
Some people go up. I go down, and that way you don't puncture the insides. Because the minute you puncture it, man, ugh.
And they make special knives just for that too, to help keep you from perforating that stomach.
Yep. Yep, they do.
And always have a tractor so you can skin it easier, right, Thack?
Yeah, for you over there in Utah, they can use their 4-wheelers and they can use ATVs and all that stuff to hunt with. Here in Iowa, we can't.
Not supposed to.
Not
unless you're handicapped.
So do you do the initial dressing in the field? I mean,
yes,
you have to.
Our goal is to gut it as quick as possible to let it cool off as quick as possible. That way you keep the meat from spoiling. We usually have it gutted within 10 minutes of it falling down.
The reason why is some of us hunt with more than one tag, right? So once you gut it and get it cooling down, you can keep hunting. You don't want to stop to have to process the deer because, unless you only have the one tag, then you can. So
it's basically everything from what? The larynx to the anus? It just...
Pretty much.
Yep.
Out in the field. And I do it for a second reason. I'm smaller, and it's heavy. Their guts
That's
are
the weight half, probably.
heavy. Yeah, because depending on what time of day you shoot that damn thing, if you're shooting it in the evening, it's been eating all day, so there's a lot of weight there. So gut it, and so I can haul it faster. So.
And when you go to gut the deer, make sure the butt end is facing downhill.
Makes a lot easier.
Yes. It just pops right out that way. Yeah.
Or if you're Thack, she just crawled right in that cavity and pulled it out. I was actually impressed. She had that done in like 5 minutes.
This is all you need to get dirty. Yep.
Elbows deep.
Don't even get to the elbow. That's about as deep as you go. And then some people, here, Redbird's got a really nice comment. If there's snow on the ground, throw it in that chest cavity. It'll help it cool down even faster.
It does two things. It does two things. It helps clean out the blood and stuff out, and it does help cool it down. We usually do it if we have snow on the ground. We usually carry milk jugs of water, too, to help wash our hands, and if there's an oops, we can rinse some of it out.
Yeah.
Crazy Scotsman mentions Daniel. Daniel God is my judge, and he does have a video or two on his channel of how he dresses a deer.
Kaylin, to answer yours, most likely.
Most likely, because considering you are considered legally blind, yes, you will probably not get a hunting license.
Well, in Utah, they have special tags for people that are handicapped or visually impaired. You can have a spotter with you. Yep. And you can use different equipment, like you might be able to use a crossbow or different apparatuses to help you.
Okay, so let's go to Old Man's question. What do you think about the 6.5 Grendel? I don't know what it is.
Oh, I don't know. Well, the Grendel and the Creedmoor are a little bit different. I like the Creedmoor. The Grendel, I don't know much about the Grendel, but I love the Creedmoor.
I know nothing about it because it's illegal to use.
Yeah, in Iowa we can't use it. All right, Will, you want to answer Allie's question?
We leave it for coyote bait, then we can hunt coyotes over it.
There you go. And that is true,
Mhm.
Scotsman. Most states, when you're legally blind, you can't. All right. Shot an elk once. Early, what is CO?
Colorado, or I don't know.
It was hot and elk was 6 feet. Oh, wow. That is quite a walk. I would never walk in 6 months. All right, Jared,
That's
Jamie. There you go. It is good to do that.
my first deer that I shot when I was married to my wife. They were making fun of me because I had the surgical gloves out. I had the stuff to put up my nose, the Vaseline, because that is one thing I don't know if you liked it, Tack, but Utah deer have that sage, gamey smell, and it's instinct. I just start heaving as soon as I start gutting those deer. I can't even have it on my hands. Oh,
I am so used to the smell and stuff. Well, we have farms here that smell worse, right, Willie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Crazy Scotsman, for coming in, stopping by. So, and then we have. Okay. I don't know what that means. Does anybody? Oh, Second Amendment? Are we talking about that? Happy second?
Yeah, every second of the month is.
Okay. Cool. All right. So we talked about prepping. Let's talk about the actual hunt, right? So Willie does that kind of hunting. I sit in a blind because I'm lazy and I'm fat. So I sit in a blind. Most thing you got to remember is you still don't want to move as much. You cannot absolutely smoke a cigarette out there. But I have never found that they don't care if I pee. I've never seen them care if I pee or not. So
that scent won't drive them off.
No, I have never had a problem with peeing outside. Man, I've taken a crap outside my freaking blind, and they have never been bothered by that. A lot of people, I've seen movies when I was younger that people like pee in the fields or whatever to stop the deer from coming in. That's not true. I've peed in many fields and the deer still come through. I peed on Jason's tires and the deer still came through.
yeah.
So
less than 50 yards away.
Yeah. This is sometimes it will draw them in. Yeah. So Allie says, has anyone ever had a bad deer?
Yes.
I had one chronic.
Oh, you had chronic waste? What about you? Oh, Willie, tell them about your deer.
I had one that I almost puked on.
Yeah.
We went to gut it. Apparently some pheasant hunters had shot it with bird shot. It was completely full of gangrene and pus. It was disgusting. Oh, so then we decided to just cut the head off for the horns because it was a small buck. Was cutting the head off, and the horn fell off the head. It was that rotten and dead. So we did a blessing by putting it out of its misery. It was so horrible. It was. I also had a doe that was eaten by coyotes, and it was still alive. The coyotes had been pushing it so hard, it had the back hamstrings ate out of it, and it was crawling on its front legs, so we put it down also.
I just read an article today. I just read an article today from DNR that talked quite a bit. They're going to be doing a Zoom meeting about it. And it's because of it's getting more prevalent in Iowa in a number of different counties. They're seeing more and more numbers of deer that are what'd you call it, Jason?
Chronic waste.
Yeah, chronic waste.
Yep.
And a lot of times I just kind of skim over those emails, but it caught my eye and I went, whoa, wait a minute. And it listed off like 6 or 7 different counties where it's getting more and more prevalent.
Yeah, it's getting to be a problem here.
I know that down in southern Iowa, there were a lot, and some of the farmers and stuff actually asked people to come and hunt down there. There were certain counties that actually gave you free tags to get rid of some of them. So now I know in Utah there's check stations where you get your deer checked for free. I don't know if we have that in Iowa. Do we, Willie?
No.
Yeah.
If you call the DNR, they do sometimes take brain samples so they can test them. We're doing that with bobcats the last couple years too, but I don't think they are this year. But I do know they are going to test more deer. If you would like them to, they would come take a sample.
Yeah, this is one of the things that this email was saying was encouraging hunters to bring them more samples, to let them know, because they need to try and track this better and get good numbers on anything they can get. So, anybody that's taking anything in Iowa to get a hold of DNR and find out how you can help aid in that.
Yep. And then there's, a lot of people know what to look for. I honestly don't know what to look for. I know that if the deer is running in a circle, then there's like by itself or acting really funny, it possibly has it, but you can shoot it and put it out of its misery. So,
or walking aimlessly, and kind of like running into trees.
Yep.
They're starting to find that elk and moose have it too.
Oh wow, really? I did not know that part. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Plano Chuck said they had problems 3 years ago.
We had that a couple years ago. That was the blue tongue, which is a little bit different.
Tell me the difference between blue tongue and chronic.
It was spread by parasites, and they would go to the water to drink, and that's where they would drown and die.
Oh, okay.
And then chronic is kind of similar. It's a parasite or a worm that goes into the brain.
It turns the brain to mush.
Correct. And they're basically like walking zombies.
We're not scaring you off, are we, Alan?
No, not yet. I mean, really, if you end up cutting up 75% of it and 25% of it, it's good.
Well, up until this year, they came out and said if you cook the meat really well, like don't eat it raw, it shouldn't affect you. But this year, the state of Utah came out with a warning that they said maybe you might want to hold off on eating it if it's tested positive for chronic. They don't know if it can be transmitted, but anyway, I personally don't want to eat one.
A redbird might have chronic. Of course, that's after a large amount of alcohol. I've seen that happen. Very, very large amount of alcohol.
I've done that too.
I don't know. Redbird can drink. That's all I can say. Redbird can drink.
Redbird can outdrink me.
Yeah, I'm crawling to my tent after drinking with her. I'm telling you what.
Now, I've noticed one big thing different from where you guys are and where I'm at. When you were telling me you use a shotgun to shoot deer, it's like I can't fathom that. For here, shotguns are for birds, or our typical shot, like Thack, you would know, is like 200-300 yards. So we set up our equipment for a 500-600-700 yard shot, and I just can't imagine shooting something with a shotgun.
State of Iowa
Most-
does not want us to be able to shoot very far because they're afraid we're going to hit the neighbor's house.
I
Yeah,
can see
we are
that.
very
We have
flat.
Well,
we
and
have
we-
a lot of open land.
And we've got square miles, more or less. Every mile there's a road. So they don't want to take chances. And that's the main reason. That's why they've always been shotgun slugs. Ruin a lot of good deer, but they don't fall as well. And people take shots they shouldn't. And that's typically why we party hunt, so we can push them and find them and get them. And then you're shooting at running deer instead of walking deer, and it gets
Yeah, and
crazy.
you don't want to shoot a running deer if you can help it.
Not if you can help it, but it gets done.
Why
Especially when
not?
they get
Tell
big.
us why not.
People get crazy.
Well,
But
with
tell
anything,
us
if it's
why not.
if it's running, it gets that
harder to
adrenaline
shoot.
running. That and it gets the adrenaline running through the meat, and you can taste it.
That's where part
It's
of the
the-
gaming comes from.
The
Mhm.
lactate, right? The lactate
Yep.
acid.
Yep, like that deer that
Yeah.
you shot, Tack. You couldn't have asked for anything better. It was just sitting
Yeah,
there
it
eating.
just dropped. Sitting there eating, it just dropped. And his
What-
mom looked at him like, "Why are you laying down?" None of the does left the area. Like,
And then they went around the corner and like, what's up?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that good that they didn't even know what was going on. So
Yeah. Have you ate that deer yet?
Here in Iowa,
it's almost gone.
all that I know is we can't use net cartridges. We can't use high power. What are we allowed to hunt with at different parts of the season?
Shotgun season is all the same. First and second season, all of it. 20 gauge, 12 gauge. I personally am shooting a 450 Bushmaster. Right now you can hunt with a 45-70, but it sounds like next year you most likely won't be able to. I don't know why they're being picky, but they're switching rules.
Now you
Three
can shoot with
fifty
a,
Legend.
The guys that I talk to use 45-70s.
Yeah, they'll be legal next year, the way it sounds.
Yep. So muzzle. So here, how it goes? You have bow season, and then you go into early muzzleloader. When you go into early muzzleloader, you can still shoot with a bow also. Then you go into first shotgun and second shotgun. Now you can use your muzzleloader and all those guns that Willie talked about, but you
There's
cannot
a
be
big
out there
list.
bow hunting.
And
You cannot
pistols.
be out there bow hunting at that time. So, and then when you go to late muzzleloader, you can bow hunt again during late muzzleloader. And you can use your
It's a split
muzzleloader
bow
during
season.
shotgun, but you can't use a shotgun during muzzleloader.
And late muzzleloader, you can use pistols.
Yes. So it has to be a 357 on up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So bring that out. Come on. You can bring your big pistol out, Alan. Shoot a deer at 120 yards. There you go. But, so back to what Jason was saying. So, Jason, you have a lot of mountains. So if that bullet goes, you have a backstop. Here in Iowa, farmland, flat, does not stop the bullet very well.
They ricochet.
Yeah. So that's why most of the deer in Iowa, people get them between, say, 25
Less than
yards to 100.
yards, most likely.
Yeah, 25 yards to at most 125, at very most. But shotguns are best for 50 yards and under, you know? So,
I'd go 75 and under, honestly.
yeah.
And if you get a good Sabot, 12 gauge now, some of them good rifled, barreled ones, you're looking at 150 yards.
So let me ask you a question. If you get a shotgun that's got the flute, the riflings in it, that necessarily, it's not different than a muzzleloader then, right?
No, not really.
No.
Because that's what's just so
Chuck,
weird to me.
The 3-shot limit is only for our ducks. We do not have a 3-shot limit for that. Yeah, our waterfowl is the only thing that has 3-shot limits. Yeah.
Yeah, the 30-06 is a good.
We did that a couple years ago in Iowa when they had their extra doe season in the bottom 2 tiers of counties. Yeah. They had way more deer, and they opened it up to a January high power season. And it was pretty much whatever you wanted over, I want to say it was 243 and bigger. You could use pretty well anything. And we hunted with a lot of SKSs and 30-06, and it was really fun because you just go out there and knock one down at 300 yards and go pick it up. There was no running them, no chasing them, no pushing them. Just drop them on the ground and go grab them. It was a lot of fun.
Hopefully someday it'll come back.
Yeah, we're going to get too many diseases in. They'll never get overpopulated that far again.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. So,
my 450, the first 2 deer I took with it, first push last year, I shot them at about 200 yards.
Yeah, 450. That's a good gun. My son has one of those.
I love it.
Now, is yours the AR or
yes.
bolt action? And that's what we have, is the AR.
Yeah. But now you can't find them anywhere anymore.
Sure you can.
You really can't.
Right now, it's pretty picked through.
It's getting pretty, yeah.
I did find some in, somebody posted some in Creston, Iowa, had some at Walmart.
Did they?
Am I going to have to go and buy you a pickup load again, Thack?
You bet. You bet.
I'll send it. A tuna fish can full of ammo.
Yep. So, Alan, have we helped you at all? Or we just sound like a bunch of
probably confused
a little bit. What about so it doesn't matter if you're using your own loads?
You can reload for your own.
I actually prefer it because I personally know that load is going to be consistent to what my gun is set up for every time.
True.
Unless you're my son, then he just goes and buys a gun based off what ammo he can buy.
I heard about that.
That's a true story. He just bought another one.
The day I showed up, he says, "Well, I wanted you to use my 22-250, but I don't have any ammo, so I just went ahead and bought a
7mm mag.
Yeah, a 7mm because they had ammo." I was like, "Are you serious?"
The only rifle ammo I found recently is 25-06. Everything else is sold out.
Wow. I'll have to look around. I have a spot that usually they have a lot of ammo.
Yeah.
I found a new spot, but I haven't been down to it yet. I've been busy at work.
So, Alan, do you want to go hunting this year?
That's a very good possibility. Very good.
I'm going Saturday.
There you go.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue what to bring. More or less, need to get all the permits and everything else. So what's all entailed? We talked briefly about how you're still going to end up. I'm still going to end up having to take a separate hunter safety course.
You can do it online.
Online, right?
Yep, you can do it online.
It's a self-paced online.
And then you got to go get your license, and then you got. So what's the deal with the tags? How do tags work?
You have to have a hunting license to be able to hunt, and that's good for pheasants, squirrels, rabbits, everything. But then
small game.
For deer, you have to have your hunting license and a tag. That way, you are only allowed one animal per tag. So when you shoot it, you have to have your tag on it before you move it or anything. to be legal, and then that way people aren't shooting multiple deer.
So you're allowed to only get so many tags per season, or
Yeah.
Okay. So you can hunt. If you hunt bow, you can get an any sex tag and as many does as you want. So when you get into the rifle seasons, you only get one any sex tag and any does, as many does as they will give you. So certain counties are allowed a certain amount of doe tags. So, but you only allowed the one any sex tag. But when
And
you
that's good
go,
for the whole state.
that's for the whole state. That's right. And then the doe tags are only by county. So let's say you're hunting Polk County, since I live here. Polk County, which there's not really any deer hunting in Polk County. But if I'm hunting shotgun one, I can hunt late muzzleloader. So I can have one buck tag for all those seasons. And then I have to purchase doe tags for either season, and you can get as many does as you can afford, basically, as long as they have them for that county. So, like so since I hunt alone, I only get one and one, right? But since Willie group hunts, why don't you explain that tagging to him?
We are allowed to fill other people's tags. Like if you and I were hunting first season, I'm allowed to shoot your deer for you, and you can put your tag on it. I'm not allowed to carry your tag because that is a fairly large fine. You are not allowed to carry tags for other people. So like if somebody wanted a deer and they go buy you a tag for you to fill because they didn't hunt but they wanted the deer meat, that is very expensive. They also don't but either one of us could fill tags. We usually ask people if they want us to do it, but I am also a landowner, which also adds to it. I can buy 4 landowner tags that are only good for properties that I either own or like farm. If you're a big farmer, any of the ground you farm, you can hunt off of it, and they're way cheaper than buying regular, but they're only good for the properties that you farm or own.
Yeah, right. That would be correct, but yeah, they won't let me touch their deer.
I had family like that until they figured out how many dollars worth of corn they ate at the edges of the fields. Then they weren't so pretty anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've literally sat on my mother's back porch and could throw a golf ball and hit 2 or 3 at the same time. I just less than 10 yards from me. I'm just like, man, I wish I had a slingshot.
A Rambo knife.
Alan, I'm going to make you a deal because we're getting close to the end of our hour. I'm going to make you a deal. You go out. If you want to go out, we'll go out. We'll take you out. Okay? And if you get a deer, I will process it for you for free. That means you'll get some brats, you'll get some deer sticks, you'll get some summer sausage, whatever you want. Roast, steak.
Well, it sounds like I've got a little bit of work to do. Sounds like I got to get myself a hunter safety course in and figure out what am I going to use? What? My 10 millimeter?
You don't have we have shotguns. We have muzzle loaders.
All right.
All that. Yeah.
If you ever want to come to Utah, I can hook you up.
There you go. Look at that. So, And
that
I
is
mean,
one hell of a deal. One hell of a
yeah.
deal. Because
So whenever you're ready, I'm not pushing you to hunt. I'm just thinking, you know, you people. There are a lot of people out there that won't take a new hunter, but those people there are rack hunters. They don't want you to shoot one of their big racks. You know what I mean? So, but if you want to eat the deer, and I'm going to take some of your deer meat too, we'll take you deer hunting. I mean, and look at that. Landrun said, let's go hog hunting at his place.
That's one thing I
Look at
want
that.
to do.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's why I have a 300 blackout and a 450, and it'd be good for either of them.
Look at that. I mean, yeah, there you go. But it's a pulley system. Mine is electric hoist. You
I
should
do
see me
too.
and Brenda hanging there trying to pull that deer up. But we have an electric hoist now. So whenever you're ready, my friend, whenever you're ready, no one's pushing you. But if you want to go out, you got Willie, you got me, and I'm pretty sure even Red Bird will take you out. Somebody will take you out. So
yeah, it's
yeah.
positively a skill that I need to acquire.
There you go. I mean, like you said, it is part of prepping. It's part of being prepared. I did a challenge where you just stay out there for 24 hours, and I had my shotgun, and I didn't get anything to eat that night. I was like, man. So being prepared and learning is always in the process, right? But like you said, people don't always take a new person. So whenever you're ready, I'm willing to take you. I'm pretty sure Willie is too, right? Even though I'm
We got to
talking for
put new
him.
tires on the Tahoe, but then we'll be good to go.
Don't put tires on your Tahoe. Tack will just pee on them.
I don't care. Mine are about to fall off. Don't want to get stuck. We don't drive.
It's just a tradition.
We'll pick it up with the pickup.
It's just a tradition that when I camp with someone, I pee on their tires for them. It brings them good luck. And didn't you see that? I peed on your tires, and then we got a deer.
Yeah, tell them what happened though after you shot that deer. What we saw.
Well, when we were taking the deer back to camp, his family was on the other side between us and camp.
Well, what was there though? What did we see? Remember that? That nice big 3-point?
Oh yeah. So
That's what always happens.
over there, their point system is different. We count 3 here and 3 here, right? They just count it as a 3.
Or a 3x4. We count on one side.
Yeah, they don't count.
Yeah,
both sides.
It was a nice deer.
Yep.
We count total points. 10, 12, 4.
1 in Tack's case.
Yeah, somebody shot off my other antler.
We have one running around that we call Elliot because it only has one horn.
that was. Yep.
Right there.
Now somebody asked earlier what we thought about trophy hunters. Can I just say, I hunt for meat, but with that being said, I have usually 3 tags. I have my tag and my son's tags, and typically we like to fill my son's tags first, and they're normally 2-point whatever. We go for the meat. But if I know I've got 2 deer in the freezer, I might hold back and not get that 2-point. I might go for a little bit bigger deer just so I can have that bigger rack. But don't get me wrong, I'm still there for the meat. But if I guaranteed I have 2 deer in the freezer, I might hold back. That's just my thoughts.
Willie, why do you?
I have no problem. I have no problem with them. It's what they want to do. It's their reasoning. I personally hunt them because they're a nuisance and cause damage to the crops in my area. We have been known, Iowa has a hush program, which is feeding hungry people. You donate your deer. The $2 that's on your tag surcharge goes towards funding that program. So we donate it to a locker, and then they take it and cut it up and give it to needy people or even some of the prisons to help supplement food. And we have enough of them that I usually have more deer meat than we can eat. I've been giving it away and donating it, and we just hunt it because we like to hunt, and Thack ends up with most of it now. But we like to hunt, and just because, but we also know we need to do it to help keep the numbers in check because we are borderline overpopulated, and that's when the disease runs through. I would prefer not to see 30, 40 deer dead along a river. I would prefer, or bounce them off your hood. I've done several that kind of makes you mad. But if I hit it, it's not the state's problem. But if I shoot it out of season, it's their deer and I have to pay for it. That's it pisses me off on that, but that's besides the point.
I hunt for meat. I have a huge family, and for some reason I am the only one that hunts. So one year Willie gave me 7 deer. I had 2 of my own, so that's 9 deer, and it did not last us. It did not last us at all throughout the winter. So last year we only got 3, right, Willie? And then I had my one. So
I got
we only had 4.
So
yeah.
Because the 2 of them I got.
Yeah. So the freezer was gone quickly, very quickly. So state by state, old man, here you can bow hunt when you get the tags, but you can hunt black powder season 1 and late season 2 shotgun, or you do season 1 shotgun and late muzzleloader. So you cannot hunt back-to-back seasons unless you're a landowner like Willie. So there's that. Folks, we have less than 3 minutes to go. I want to thank my panel. Alan, I hope you learned a little bit of something. Jason, thank you so much for coming by. Hey, if you guys saw Valerie Reese out there in the chat, we did a Saturday all-day live stream to raise money for kids and stuff and the people that were hungry. And I want to thank some of you that came on. We raised over $2,600. So I want to thank you all for that. Yep. And then next week, you're going to see me, maybe with Willie, out in the woods hunting. And that's where our Talk with Thack Tuesday next week is coming from, is out in the woods. You guys got anything else you would like to say before we shut it down?
I just want to come out there one of these years, and I'm going to go hunting with you guys. You got to experience Utah. I want to come there.
Absolutely. Whitetail. Absolutely.
We could put on heck of a show if you want to hunt like some of the people around here, but it's a little aggressive for some people.
I might have to do muzzleloader, though.
That's fine. They hunt aggressively in their group. Yeah.
My battery just died.
My buddy
Alan, you got anything else?
It's a Ford pickup.
No, just thank you for bringing me in. You know, it's a great insight into getting started and possibly getting out and doing some hunting. And skill.
You'll have to shut off your speaker, Jason.
To really run it, is willing to take a complete noob like myself and start teaching them the ropes and get them out there.
Absolutely. Once you get your hunter safety, let's do it. We'll pick a season. We'll pick a day. And like I said, if you get a deer, I will process it for you. All right? Hey, folks, I want to thank each and every single one of you for coming. I hope this topic was interesting to you. Next week, Willie and I will be live from the woods. I hope you guys come back. And then the week after that, I have a great, awesome panel. I have Sky North coming in. I have Plain Old Chuck coming in from Ohio. Sky North is from Wisconsin. And then I have Kira and Corey from South Dakota. That is going to be a huge show. That's on the 15th. But next week, we will be with me and Willie. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate you guys for coming on. Have a great night. Thanks again. Until next time, may all your adventures be A-okay, folks. Thanks, guys.